Alright everybody, welcome to the Hole It Project. Today on the chopping block we have a 2015 6RE out of a Mustang. Let's go ahead and tear this down, see what's wrong with it. The garage is all picked up, clean, and see what we can find in this thing here. Jump into the deep end. What's the worst that can happen? First, we'll go ahead and take off these tranny pan bolts. Looks like there's a bunch of them, and they are 8s. Okay, so now that we got our first mess out of the way, we'll just keep on going here. Oh, that's nasty. Okay. I got a little trash in the pan. Looks like bugs. Plant fiber or something. I mean, it is out of a Mustang, so probably was in a ditch at one time. Okay, so you have a bunch of bolts here. Some have big heads, some have small heads. And we'll get the star bit out. Take the big ones out first, because I believe that'll get your valve body off. There's your little dipstick here, dingling out here. And you're going to want to pull out your case connector plug. This will just pull this way, and like a 6L80E, you'll grab a hold of the pass-through part and pop that on out of there. So let me go ahead and get that done, and I'll bring it back on here. Okay, so that just pulls on out of there, and then the case connector is back here. And I'm probably going to have to use a little assistance from a vice grip. We'll just grab and wiggle, pull this thing out of there. Normally they don't take much. There it is. Just pops on out of there. It's got 2 O-rings and a flat O-ring. And those are probably 30s. Yeah. There she is. Nice and gentle. Gentle always wins. So there you go. That's your valve body removal. Woo! Okay, so I just had the bejesus scared out of me. Evidently, if you hold down one of these buttons too long, it calls 911. So, whoopsie daisies. Sorry, emergency services. I apologize. Alright, so to recap, we pulled out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 bolts, all with T30 star bit, and there are your bolt sizes. The 3 short ones run down here along the bottom. Alright, so I'm going to set that valve body aside. I'm not going to do anything with it right now at all. And we will get into taking the pump apart. Or pump out, sorry. Apologize. Alright, let's pull out this seal. It just comes off easily. Go ahead and set that to the side. Got your other rubber seals right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or the 3 of them. Second one is not used. Okay, we'll zap out these pump bolts. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, lucky 13. Let's lift this pump on out of here. Goes. Just being stubborn. So out comes the pump as an assembly. 2 O-rings. Spacer. Wiped out bushing. Set that over to the side. Okay, next we'll just reach in here on the input shaft. Pull out some goodies. Just grab a hold of the input shaft here and lift straight up. Holy Moses. That had some beef to it. Okay. Next, we got this clutch basket here. Couple O-rings on it. Always make sure to look at your gear teeth. Got a bushing on there, or a roller bearing. Flange sits downward. Next, we'll just go ahead and reach inside. We got another thrust bearing. Flange goes down and fits over the top of this. So we'll take that, set it to the side. And we have ourselves a very, very large snap ring pointing in the opposite direction from the starter. So you could note that that would be the 3 o'clock position. And I'll make a mark there and there where the snap rings go. Pull out our mega pliers. Oh, that doesn't have near the girth that the 6L80 does, but hey, if you got the tools, use them, right? And that snap ring does have a beveled side to it that faces up. So remember that. Let's pull these rubbers out of here. We'll go ahead and set them on the table just as I pulled them out. And they go small, medium, and large. That's left to right. There they are, small, medium, and large. Ow! Ooh, those clutches are sharp. Got to gingerly pull up on this because of the tight tolerances. It's very, very well machined. Ooh, man. Cut my fingertips. Okay, so we very gently just tapped on that center support and it come out. So one thing you don't want to do is get wild and crazy with prying devices on finely machined surfaces. You're just asking for trouble when you do stuff like that. So stay away from that. If you do use a prying device, be very, very gentle, and be sure not to leave marks on the surface that you just pried on. So now we're down to the last part of the case here, all the innards. We got ourselves a sprag down here, or a mechanical diode. Ford's always good about using those. They've got the indicator pointing up here. Rotates one way and not the other. Got our anti-clunk spring that goes down here. What else do we have down there? That's our gear set, our planetary gear set. Got our thrust bearing. Lip faces down. There's a shim on the top of it that fits in there. Okay. There's our super mega planetary gear set with our low reverse clutches sitting on the top. This would sit down below those clutches. Okay, after you get your lower reverse clutches out, you have your planet carrier down in there. And another thrust bearing. Flange fits down. And the yoke is bolted to the back of this, which is also the output shaft. So we'll have to work to get that out of there. And obviously there's another thrust bearing down below that. You can obviously tell by the way that it spins. So, but that's the end of it. That's all that's in there. The next thing we'll do is tear apart the individual components. We've got them laying over here on the table as we took them out. So we have the low planet with the low reverse clutch on it, the bearing. This is the mechanical diode. This is our center support with our clutch set in it. This is the input shaft. Input shaft. Got two sets of clutches here. This basket and this basket. And then this setup here. And then our pump. So we'll go ahead and get this thing tore down, cleaned up, and we'll see what we can find, huh? This will be fun. Okay, let's get ourselves in here on the center support clutch pack. I measured this, just as a point of reference, and we're sitting right about 40 thousandths. 0.040. You can mark what direction that the snap ring is pointed. On a GM6L80, certain clutch baskets are special and require that the snap ring be put in a certain orientation. So we can grab ourselves a scribe and make a little mark. It's not going to hurt a thing. And then we will go ahead and pop this snap ring on out of here. Walk it around. So take a look at it, see what you got. You can see the little witness marks here indicating that goes up, but I don't see a taper or a bevel on this, so that snap ring should go in any orientation. Pull our clutch pack out. Got our apply plate here on the top. Clutches are a little on the dark side, but they aren't bad. Then you got your wavy on the bottom. So I don't see any hot spots on the steels here at first glance. And I'm just going to go ahead and set these back in. I have limited space, and I feel that that was okay to do. And when we go to get this thing cleaned up, we can just go ahead and take the clutches out and clean each sub-assembly individually. And that way you don't get confused or lose things. So that's easy enough to do. And then we'll set this off to the side. The lower reverse clutches look just fine also. Let's go ahead and pop out this clutch set here. As always, just take a look at the orientation of things. If you got a camera, go ahead and take pictures of what you're doing. I'm going to go ahead and take a quick measurement on this one. Start with 40 thousandths. That one's a little looser than 40 thousandths. And this is just point of reference, that's all it is. We can try 48. Yeah, it's about 50 thou. So 050 would be where I'd say that would be. As always, you can make a mark on there with a marker if you want. Whoopsie daisies. So this one does have a slight beveled edge right here that was facing up. We got a wavy on the bottom. Ply plate on the top. And we got some hot spotting here. Hot spotting on the steels, indicating slippage. For this clutch set. We can look at the back side quick. I mean, you can see some hot spotting there. Up here. So, I believe this Mustang to be stock. So we can check to see if there's a tear or anything on our apply pistons down here. Could just have some mileage on it, you know. So, put these back in the fashion that they came out. I mean, I'm, just guessing that whoever drives the Mustang just doesn't drop the top on it and, tool around to the local mall. I mean, I'm sure that they bought that car for a reason. Probably for their wife. That would be a good reason. Okay, partially put that in there. Oh, let's see. Got our 2 Teflon rings down here. We'll check. We'll give this an air test. Check to see if we got any bubbling or breakage. That'll certainly cause a slip condition. Okay, so then on the back side of this drum, holding it on, we have a snap ring. We'll remove that. And we'll just reach up in here. And so if we make a note, we have a gap right here, and each one of these snap rings faces is split in that gap. Okay. So there we go. Snap ring removed. Still struggling. Okay. We can see all my tamper marks up there, so that side goes up, obviously. And so this is the nub that I marked up here at the top with a scratch mark. This is the nub here. And each one of these has a little tang. So we'll deal with that as we go along. Basket. Or hub. Set that down. Okay. On a GM, this would be similar to the 3, 4, 5, 6 clutch. And it just has a little snap ring up here. We'll mark that. And we will remove it. Another bearing sitting right on the top there. Little couple hot spots. Not roached. I mean, obviously slipping. Clutches are darker in color. And again, underneath the hub, there's a little bearing. Cap goes down. On this side here, another bearing. Tang faces up. Lots of roller stuff on these things, keeping that friction down. Got a plastic thrust washer here. Okay. Got ourselves another snap ring. Facing this direction. Make a little witness mark. Pull the snap ring out. And those clutches look pretty damn good. So, where's our issue? Are we not making enough pump pressure? Do we have an issue in our valve body? What do we got going on here? This. Okay, let's continue our disassembly of this 6R80. There's a snap ring that lives up in here. You just take your compression tool, push down on the piston until you can get the snap ring out. This is a pretty beefy snap ring. I'm gonna tell you. So make sure you got yourself a good set of snap ring pliers. You know, this style with the flat end on them. When I took this thing apart, we had right at about 65 thousandths clearance between the snap ring and the top clutch. There is no wavy apply piston or apply ring in this set, so we don't have to worry about that. And we will go ahead and dump out the insides. This piston just has a rounded ring on it. We'll replace that. This is face down. And let's see what we can do here. We can get a fly on the forehead that is relentless. If you can't tap it out, apply a little bit of air. Okay, there you go. This is the bottom side with the 3 little feet. Top side has the rounded flange. So now we can clean up this drum assembly and replace the bushing down here inside. That one might be a little bit of a fun time to get out, and then replace these 3 sealing rings right here. Then we'll be able to put that together. This is known as the overdrive clutch, or the 4th, 5th, and 6th gear clutch. Okay guys, let's go ahead and tear down the center support, or the clutch C, or the intermediate clutch, or the 2/6 clutch, whichever you want to call it. This clutch is only on in 2nd and 6th gear. So let's get the snap ring out of here. I've already got it partially out. We could do a feeler gauge test and see how much clearance we got in this thing. She's tight, like tight. 18. 26 is a little draggy, not bad. Right at about 36 thousandths. So we'll write that down for reference. Even though this tranny does have quite a few miles on it, so let's pop her open. top plate. Wavy's on the bottom. And these are a little darker with a little bit of heat spotting. Absolutely not terrible. So we can reuse the clutches, or sorry, we can reuse the steels and put new clutches in. So how many we got here? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. We'll set these steels, snap ring, and pressure plate on the side to be cleaned. What do we got going on here? This is held in by this retainer plate with a snap ring down in here, right there. Okie dokie. Artichoke. Got our snap ring off. That frees our retaining plate, like that, which also enables us to remove our return spring. Then you have your 2 apply pistons down here, and we'll probably need a little bit of compressed air to pop that out of there. On the back side, you have the second half here, so we can get this retaining plate popped off of here, this return spring, and that should. Okay, so our retaining plate is notched, fits right here in this groove. Snap ring holds that down. You apply pressure on these 2 faces here. That way you can get the retaining plate and ring removed. And then you go ahead and drop that on your foot because you got your Egyptian safety shoes on, also known as flip-flops. Put some air here. That was the inside. That one's the outside. Slickery. There we go. All right. So here's the outside. We'll take all of our outside components, put them together, and wash them together. Then you have your inside component, a couple of taps on the ground on this face, and then out she comes. So there's your center support. We'll go ahead and get that cleaned up. And that is your intermediate or C-clutch teardown. Okay, our next teardown is going to be the direct drum clutch. Also would be 3rd, 5th, and reverse. Let's get this thing tore down quick. I'll make a little mark on the outside of this housing. Where the clutch halves come together, just in case this one is a directional type snap ring. Like those goofballs over at GM do. Okay. Yep, just the same as before. Wavy plate, steel, dark frictions. Set that all off to the side. Excuse me. Yeah, these things have seen a little bit of abuse. But I mean, you know, whatever. Get those washed up. Set this clutch pack to the side so we can go back and reference it later. Down inside here we have a snap ring, just like usual. We'll go ahead and mark where our snap ring is in relation to the drum here. Just a little witness mark is all you need. Okay, one small mark to look at later. We'll push down on the center here and pull this thing apart. Okay, snap rings out of there. Set him to the side. Dump the guts out. Here's our plate. The FOMOCO goes to the top. FOMOCO. And then this one was facing up. You can tell by the little teeth marks here. Might have to apply a little bit of air. There you go. Empty the basket. A little bit of air. Boy, that sealing ring looks like it's been seen better days. See how that's kind of chunked out there? On the inside. I like these sealing rings better than I do the lip seals. They're easier and faster. Can't really screw things up like when you cut a lip off of a lip seal or something. Okay. Alright, we'll get this stuff washed and we'll be back. Okay, let's tear into this forward clutch assembly. The forward clutch is on during first, second, third, and fourth. Let's pop this thing open here. Take the snap ring out. Get our clutch pack out of there. Same as before. Wavy one on the bottom. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tan clutches. This is actually in really good shape. This clutch pack is. So, then what do we got? Looks like we got to get that planted on out of there. Okay, so this is pretty tricky here. On each side of the gear, you have a little tab. You take your little needle screwdriver, push it in, and you can feel that little retainer clip push in while you do that. Just hold it to the side and give a little gentle push. You can lift up on it. And then we'll just walk it around here. Okay. So here's your snap ring that I was pushing around on. Fits in this groove here. And what you're doing is you're pushing in on these little tabs. Or you're pushing that snap ring away from those tabs so you can get that off of there. Not real simple. Not real simple at all. Push down on that and get her on apart. Okay, so this is not a very heavy duty snap ring, but it is retained by these legs inside of the metal component here. So we should just be able to lift this on out of here like so. We got everything marked, so we should be able to go back together pretty easily. And got your spring plate, and then your aluminum piston down here. So we'll get that pressed out of there with the air, or pushed out of there with the air, and get to cleaning. Alright guys, so that concludes our teardown of the 6R80 two-wheel drive transmission out of the Mustang. What do you think? Is it something that you'd like to see more of? You want to see me put it back together if you made it all the way to the end? Were you surprised at what was wrong? Do you think that's a common issue? It was my first time being in one of those. Shares a lot of similarities with the GM of the same style or time frame. It was a good time. I really enjoy getting into those things and making folks happy when they get them back. It's just something that I like to do. So anyway, I appreciate you guys following along and watching. Hopefully, and I mean, I know the answer to this question, but hopefully you guys get to see a running video of that Cadillac. I know that these are kind of little filler videos in between, but both my brother and I work lots of hours, but all you gotta do is keep your head up and keep smiling, and remember, as my good old buddy Jeff Ream used to say, just because you have one doesn't mean you have to be one.